How does meditation affect breathwork or vice versa?
A lot. So it's a really great combination because you are going to be able to surrender more. So meditation is Shiva and Shakti is the energy, is the activation of the energy. And you need to balance both energies, right?
Hello and welcome to the James Granstrom podcast, Super Soul Model Series, where I help people tune and tap into their natural state of well-being. This week's guest is the founder of InnerCamp. Alexis Alcalá is a teacher and breathwork and bodywork and Tantra teacher, and he's been doing this for over 10 years. And he's renowned for his adeptedness of merging spirituality and science and making it seem simple, using ancient practices up to date, making it practical. So I would really love to introduce my breathwork teacher to the Super Soul Model Series. Welcome, Alexis.
Hi, thank you, James. Thank you for your introduction and thank you also for your invitation. Very excited to be here with you today.
Me too, me too. And I'm so excited to be able to share what you do with the world and with the audience. Because I think it was end of last year, I came to your breathwork sessions in Marbella. And, I started to have some amazing experiences from your breathwork, particularly your type of breathwork. But before we sort of talk into the breathwork and we talk about the body work and energy and Tantra, what I'd really love to do is share with you, the audience, how did you get into this type of therapy? How did this journey of holistic well-being come into your experience? Because you don't just stumble across this, something has to happen. So what's Alexis's journey?
Yeah, so it was like more than 10 years ago. I was living in Germany. Now
Yeah.
I'm living in Spain, in Marbella. And I was living in, according to the society would say that I was very successful because I was working for big companies, big IT companies, and then had a high salary and my life looked perfect. I had a really great car and a great apartment. So from outside, everything looked perfect, but inside, I was really unhappy. I was completely broken. I started to develop different diseases and symptoms. I became celiac, intolerant to different products, different foods, and I felt really unhappy. I felt like, hey, this is not what I want in my life. I learned from the society that I should work a lot, I should escalate positions and get promoted all the time.
Yeah.
But what I was doing, I became like a project manager and program manager. I managed budgets with a few millions of euros, also many people. And I was not able to sleep well. So until 3, 4 a.m. every day, I was not able to sleep. I was triggered by everything around, so my nerves and everything. So I realized that this is not the life I wanted to have. And then I started to try different techniques. I tried therapy, I tried improvisation, theater, so different techniques to learn more about my body, to also understanding my mind, because I didn't understand why I was so unhappy. And then I decided to go to Thailand and to be there for some time, living there in Thailand, and also trying different techniques, trying breath work, trying meditation, yoga, different things. And I was in a healing school. And someone told me, you need to try breathwork because breathwork is really powerful. And I had no idea about breathwork. So I had done a lot of meditation, yoga, different practices, tantra, but breathwork was like, okay, it's going to be like, okay, one more technique because it's
Yeah.
just about breathing. And then I didn't have any expectations at all. I went to a room with 40, 50 people, everyone yelling, crying. It was really wild. It was crazy.
Yeah.
And then I had really amazing experiences. I saw myself in my mom's womb. I saw myself with like past memories from my childhood. I was able to release trauma. I was able to feel so much. I was able to really cry because I was not able to cry for many years. And I was able to feel for the first time. And I said, wow, this thing about breathwork is really powerful. And the world really needs to do more breathwork. And of course, I was able to surrender more because I was in this environment and I was really ready to go deep inside. Normally, in many workshops, it takes a bit longer to go so deep and to see so much. But for me, it was really easy to see so much. And since that, I studied breathwork in different schools with different teachers. I practiced a lot of breathwork in the air, breathwork in water, different styles, different patterns, different rhythms. And I tried many things. I also started to facilitate to many people in Asia. Then I came back to Europe and I started to facilitate also breathwork to people, to groups. I started to facilitate retreats as well. And I saw that this was really powerful. People were transforming themselves with breathwork. And I heard really many stories from people saying, I had like a pain in one of my ribs for 20 years and now I don't feel it anymore. or I saw people coming with inflammation in the knees, and then after a few sessions of breath working at retreat, they didn't have any inflammation at all. And people healing asthma, people not needing any more tablets for depression and things like that. So it was like a lot of feedback from many people. And I realized that, hey, breathwork is a really amazing healing tool, and I need to provide more of this. And I also tried different types of breathwork in the world. This is why after a few years of trying breathwork, different modalities, I combined breathwork. I combined also neuro-linguistic programming. I combined also science, what I had learned all these years. And then is when I created the holosomatic breathwork therapy. That is my style. This is my
That's the style.
breathwork
That's
style.
the breathwork style that I tried with you. Now, I must have been with you about 4 sessions I've done with you now. Um, I'm just intrigued. I just want to go back to something that you said when you were talking about like your history. One of the things you mentioned was in the breathwork that you saw yourself in the womb, or you saw yourself in your mother's womb, or you saw yourself releasing traumas. That's quite interesting because how would one realize that just by breathing in a certain way and so powerfully with your technique, how do these things sort of come up in the body? How do these things actually surface, like rise up for us to be able to let go of and shed? Because people are so used to have to get saying, I need to get promoted, I need to go and get this job. But since COVID, a lot of people have really thought, hang on a minute, there's got to be another way. My wellness is really, really important. But I guess my question really is how does these memories, why do they surface from a scientific point of view? Why do these memories surface to the top by your specific breathing technique?
Sometimes people call it a psychedelic breathwork because the experience is similar to psychedelics, to mushrooms, truffles, ayahuasca. Of course, it's not the same because we don't go so deep, and also we can control the process all the time. It's not like, okay, you take something, you breathe in a specific pattern, and then you just need to suffer or to experience something. So you have always the control, but sometimes the effects are very mystical and you can feel a lot. The scientific explanation is that you overcome the ego, and then you can relax also. The breathing pattern that we are doing is through the belly. So when we are doing belly breathing, abdominal breathing, so we can activate the parasympathetic nervous system, and we can also activate the vagus nerve. Therefore, we're going to relax a lot. So we are going to um, change the brain waves, and then we will be in a relaxing state where we can surrender, where we can access the subconscious mind. And then from there, we can revisit memories from the past.
Do the memories just surface by themselves, or do you have to go and think about it?
This is coming automatically because breathwork is going to give you what you need. For
Right.
example, some people come to breathwork and they say, oh, I want to connect to you. I want to see memories from the past, from my childhood. Some people say, I'm more exoteric, and they say, oh, I want to see my ancestors. I want to talk to them. And this is not really happening in a breathwork session, because maybe in the breathwork session, what you need to do is to release physical pain or trauma from your body, or maybe you just need to learn how to surrender, how to relax. And then there are like different layers. Depending on what you need, you are going to experience as much as you need. So people with high expectations and expecting to have a lot might be not finding what they are looking for, because maybe the body's needing something completely different. There are people, for example, who come exhausted because they work a lot, they have no time to rest, and they come to a breathwork session and they just fall asleep. And this is what your body's needing. Your body's not needing to connect to your ancestors, to have visions, to see this or that. What
Sure.
your body needs to do is to relax. There are people who come and they say, oh, I want to heal a disease. I want to heal, for example, asthma. Very often, asthma is coming because of emotional situations, emotional issues, parents who got divorced, for example, situations at home when you were a kid. And in order to heal asthma, first of all, you need maybe to release trauma. You need to first forgive yourself. Maybe you need to forgive your parents. So there is like a process, there is a journey, and you cannot always expect that you are going to reach a specific outcome. Breathwork is going to always give you what you need. In my situation, when I was in Thailand, this is I was surrendering so much that I was able to go deep inside. But I can imagine if my first time doing breathwork would be, for example, in Spain or in Germany where I was living, probably my experience wouldn't be so deep. Okay, it's
And
possible to
the
go so
reason
deep.
the reason for that is because you're in a completely different environment. You're freer.
Exactly.
Because I
And
noticed that
also,
sometimes when I've been in other countries, I've done a retreat, a fasting retreat in Thailand,
mhm,
and I noticed that the freer you are, and perhaps the less people you know, the more powerful the experience can be, because you need to be in a place where you can not have to worry or think about anything when you're doing this type of work. And I'm interested from both the science and the spiritual perspective, because I want to talk to the audience who are both maybe scientific or spiritual,
mhm.
because you talk about mystical experiences, that's more of the spiritual side. But the scientific side, what's actually happening to the body biologically when you're doing this deeper holosomatic therapy that you've created?
We're not having hyperventilation. Some people might say, "Oh, what you're having hyperventilation." Hyperventilation is like normally a chronic disease where you are having anxiety, panic attacks. You feel, for example, you feel fears. People who come to a plane and then they start hyperventilating, they breathe very fast and they breathe like this, and then they are afraid of the plane, of the flight. But what is happening here is we are expelling too much carbon dioxide. Okay, we are pushing the carbon dioxide, and then we suffer the effects of hyperventilation. But this is not what is happening in breathwork. What is happening in breathwork is that we are bringing a lot of oxygen inside of the body. We are superventilating, not hyperventilating, superventilating the body. Okay, and then when we are doing abdominal breathing, many people don't know how to do abdominal breathing. This is breathing through the belly area. So you expand your belly when you inhale. So here we can activate the parasympathetic nervous system. The parasympathetic nervous system is related to is the rest and digest nervous system. Is when you are in meditation, when you are relaxed. Okay, it happens the same with the brain waves. We go into another state where we can surrender, where we go into a meditative state, but we are very conscious, and this state is called a non-ordinary state of consciousness. If you go to the origin of connected conscious connected breathwork, that is in the 60s 70s, one of the founders was Stanislav Grof, a psychiatrist, and he called this holotropic state. A
Yes.
holotropic state.
I've tried holotropics. I've done holotropic breathing. Is that the same as Wim Hof's type of breathing pattern? Or-
It's different. It's different. We have the
Yeah.
target is to energize the body. They use a concept in medicine that is called intermittent hypoxia. Intermittent hypoxia is when you deprive your body, organs, cells, and tissues from oxygen for a short period of time. When you do this in a controlled way, this is really great for the body because you are going to feel like more, like stronger, more energized. You can,
So
for
it's
example,
quite
perform
interesting
better.
because if you're talking about the holotropic breathing, I tried this. I tried Wim Hof's breathing and I did a good 1 hour of it. And I think it was the next day. I did that in the afternoon on a Monday, Sunday. And the next day on a
Mhm.
Monday, I woke up and I was like, wow, I have to go for a run. And I was running in the summer here in Spain and I ran like half a marathon in the heat, but I was like, my body just needs to move because it was just so full of energy. Now, I'm used to having a lot of energy, but that was like a very different level of energy. And I ran the entire time, and it must have been very hot. And don't recommend it for everybody, but fortunately, I was conditioned and I have been running marathons and so forth before. But I was really fascinated by the amount of energy that I got just from that type of holotropic breathing that you're mentioning. But it's very different to
It's
the
very
type
different.
that you have been doing,
Mhm.
which is
One
the
thing is that
holosomatic
we
therapy.
have.
Yeah. But
One
it's
thing
really
is
nice to
that,
be able to, because a lot of people are fully aware of Wim Hof's therapy,
yeah.
which is absolutely brilliant. But I'm just trying to figure out what the difference between what you're offering, which is the holosomatic therapy, versus Wim Hof, so people have some sort of comparison. Because my experience of when I worked with you was, wow, I feel like I've had an energetic cleansing, which is different.
Mhm. It's different. It's different. Wim Hof is based on intermittent hypoxia, so you have less oxygen. Even we can use like a oximeter to
Yeah.
check the oxygen levels. So it's like very easy to check the oxygen levels. You will see that when you hold the breath, it's going down, 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 down. And this is what we reach in Wim Hof. So we want to reduce the amount of oxygen, and this is going to help us to feel more energized. And in the method that I facilitate in holotropic or holosomatic breathwork, the target is different. The target is to overcome the ego, to go to the subconscious mind, and not only to energize the body, but also to visit past memories, to release trauma from the body, to release blockages, to feel more. So it's like, let's say, it's more, the target is different and it's like more complex what is happening. The sessions are longer and the intensity of the breath is like deeper than in Wim Hof. Wim Hof normally is like 50 minutes, and then it's like, yes, the preparation is more for a physical layer, let's say. And in Holosomatic, we go deeper into deeper layers. We visit the subconscious mind.
So who needs to do this type of breath work? Who needs to do this type of breath work? Because
So
yeah, I'm just really fascinated.
first of all, someone who is brave to
Right.
face traumas, to face the subconscious mind, to face the shadows, because if you really don't want to do some inner work, if you don't want to do some introspection, and then you suddenly see past memories, there are people who come, for example, and they realize that they were sexually abused, for example, when they were a kid. They didn't know, but through breath work, you can know that this happened in your life. So if you are brave enough to say, hey, I'm okay with facing my shadows, whatever is there, you are really great. You're going to be doing really great in breathwork. So you can see a lot. People who want
It's a
to,
bit scary though. It sounds like when you're saying that at the beginning of the session, we're all lying down, you're saying, look, something might surface that you're not ready for, or you didn't realize, or your mind has shut down. Because our mind has the ability to shut down to keep us protected and to keep us safe, so that we don't have to look at some of those traumas. But why is it that we humans are why do we get these traumas? What, and then why do we have to clean them? This is kind of strange, right? I find it quite peculiar.
mm,
You know, you come in as a
um,
baby, you're perfect as you are, you've come straight from the source, you're beautiful, you're innocent, you're radiating this inner glow, and yet throughout time, there's traumas. You collect this trauma.
mhm.
Why is
Yeah,
that?
you are born, for example, and being born is traumatic. For example, the room is very cold, or they don't treat you so well when you're born, and this is already traumatic. Or something's going on in your family is having financial problems, or your family is not giving the love that you need, and then this is traumatic. You are sexually abused. This is very traumatic. Even sometimes it's not physical sexual abuse. It could be that an uncle is looking at you in a specific way, like a sexual desire, and this is traumatic also for the kid as well. And then your parents are telling you you should not play with your toys, you should study, or you should not talk because you're not an adult, you are a kid. Kids don't talk, or you should stop being so playful. So you should study or work or do something different. And then we create traumatic experiences. We have traumatic experiences, and these are bigger or smaller traumas, and this is conditioning us. And then maybe in the future we don't sing because we feel like we believe it's a limiting belief. We believe that we are not good singers, and this is why we are not popular and famous singers, or we don't draw, or we don't do this or that, because our parents, what we learn is that we cannot do this or that. Or for example, every time I start a new relationship, I give up very quickly. I don't really fight, so I uh, break up with my partner, or the same with a job, the same. Or I don't trust myself to have a business, and then I never have a business because I feel like it's impossible. I will not be able, because I know that, yeah, I learned in my childhood that I cannot have a successful business.
So this
So all of this
holosomatic
is
therapy cleans all of these types of thoughts.
exactly,
And that's really
exactly,
helpful. So if anyone feels that they're being held back, this is the type of therapy that they really need to have or to consider.
exactly.
That's a really big thing, because a lot of people can be aware that that something's holding them back, but they don't know exactly what it is. And it's because of these past traumas or these past energies that you seem to just be carrying around in the subconscious mind, because the child mind, when I've looked into child, the inner child work, it's just the child mind just takes everything straight, just goes, oh,
Mhm.
you're not enough, you're not good enough, or you're not confident enough, or you don't have enough, or there isn't enough. Or it might be something completely different. You need to do more, you need to do more, you need to do more, so you can feel loved, when in actual fact you've already come as love. And then it kind of gets drilled out of you through an experience that maybe you have. So I'm really fascinated that this type of work cleans all of these types of programs out. It kind of wipes the computer drive of your mind clean.
Right.
How does meditation affect breath work or vice versa?
A lot. So it's a really great combination.
Yeah.
It's a really great combination because you are going to be able to surrender more. You are going to be able to sometimes some people come to breathwork just to experience something, like more to get activated and to feel. And meditation is like, Shiva and Shakti. So meditation is Shiva and Shakti is the energy, is the activation of the energy. And you need to balance both energies, right? Masculine, feminine energy, Shakti and Shiva.
So which one?
And
So is the breath work the masculine and the meditation is the feminine? Is that right?
meditation is the masculine. So
Meditation is the
when you are
masculine.
meditating, you are like Shiva. Shiva is consciousness, is meditation, it's like you are focused on, right? And Shakti's feeling is awakening the Kundalini energy and feeling a lot and connecting to the emotions and feeling the emotions. So breathwork can be masculine and feminine, can be a balance.
Right.
The problem is sometimes people get addicted to feeling.
Yeah.
So many people go into those practices, they just want to feel, but they don't do meditation. And this is the problem because they don't do meditation, they get addicted to feel, and is an unbalanced person.
Right.
Okay, so meditation can be a really great combination with breath work or with any Shakti practices, with any practices where you are working with your energy because you have the power. Very often I see in breathwork sessions that people have worked with the Kundalini energy and they come to breathwork and they start moving the energy and they're not able to control this. They're like out of control.
Right.
And this is because they are not meditating. So meditation is really, really needed in the world. I understand that many people don't like meditation because it's not so, you come to breathwork, there's
It's one of the
music.
hardest things to do is to sit still.
Yeah, it's really
The hardest
hard.
thing is I consider it the most rebellious act you can do. It's so
Yeah,
rebellious because in a world of action and where everything's
yeah,
moving, sit still is the most,
yeah.
hardest thing to do. How many sessions does one need to do in order to kind of get into this freer state of mind, freer state of thinking? Because there's some people out there who don't do any of this type of work, yet still do really well. But
So it's going to be
yeah, so what was happening there?
Yeah, it's going to be up to the person how much work they have done in the past. Sometimes, for example, 5 sessions could be already very powerful and they can feel a lot already and they can get very important insights. Some people are going to need even more because they don't know, for example, how to surrender. They have an inner dialogue in breathwork all the time that I should do this technique perfectly, or I should relax, or I'm not doing this. So it's an inner dialogue. I want to be the best. I want to have the best experiences. It's also the ego, and then it's going to be very hard for them to see stuff from the past. So even if you don't see the stuff from the past, this inner dialogue is also very important for your introspection because you're learning about yourself. You're learning that, hey, I want to be always perfect. That could be also a problem. It could be also something coming from a trauma from your childhood that you had to prove that you're perfect to your parents to receive love, for example,
Yeah,
right?
interesting.
So
And
so
that's
every
the proving thing, and then you go and try and prove that in the external world, the 3D world. Let
exactly.
me prove that I'm a success, so I will be loved and accepted and acknowledged and validated by the people I look up to, such as my parents, my father, or my mother, or whatever. So then I'll be loved. So you work yourself crazy to try and get that thing when if you did this inner work and you had a look at yourself, a bit like what you were doing when you were working in Germany, you're working so hard to be able
Mhm.
to go, I'm proving myself externally, yet internally, I'm killing myself.
Yeah, totally. Yes.
So this is really fascinating. So I guess my next question is, could you show us like a 1 minute sort of thing, what type of breathing pattern that someone could do if they were listening on this podcast and just go, look, this is just a little taster of something that you could do, that we could all do together, wherever you are, even if this episode is like in a year or two time, just 1 minute or something like that, where we could just go, I'm getting an experience from Alexis, who's been doing this for such a long time and really has helped himself and thousands of other people. Uh, could you show us a little?
Yeah, I'm going to show you one simple technique. It's very easy. It can be done in just 1 minute. It can be done by everyone. At any time, you can do it, for example, waiting in the supermarket line. You can do it, for example, before a call, before a business meeting, at any time. It's very simple. You're going to breathe through the nose in a connected way. So there are no pauses between inhalation and exhalation, exhalation and inhalation. This exercise is called 20 connected breaths. So in total, we do 20 breaths. We do 4 rounds, and in each round, we do 4 short breaths, 1 long breath. So I'm going to show you 1 round only.
Okay.
So we do this 4 times. In total, it will be 20 rounds, 20 breaths. In, out, in, out, in, out, in, out, long in, long out, and then we go directly to the next round.
And we're doing that 4 times.
Yes, exactly.
Okay, let's go then. Shall we do it?
Yeah, let's go. Yeah, comfortable sitting position.
Yeah.
And let's close the eyes here. And then let's start. And slowly coming back when you're ready. And then if you would like to do it longer, you could even do 8 rounds or even 12 rounds. I don't recommend to do more than 12 rounds because it might be too much, and then you start saying stuff, you know, those memories, and you access the
This
subconscious
is
mind.
really interesting because I'm just trying to have a little introspection as we're having this conversation, and I can just feel like my body has warmed up, number one. Number two, I can feel my heart is beating a little quicker, obviously. And number three, another thing is I can feel a sensation in my hands here, like a nice
Yeah.
tingling sensation. What else? Yeah, I feel my head is even clearer than before. Interesting. Okay.
Yes.
And that was
Very
just
short exercise and very
great
powerful.
exercise. Okay, brilliant. Thank you so much for sharing that.
Thank
Okay,
you.
so I hope you guys at home have tried this, whoever's listening, and I hope you've like listened to what Alexis has been saying, because this stuff is really powerful. I want to tell you, the audience, just as a reminder, I've been meditating every day for 20 years, and meditation is a kind of inner cleansing. It helps you reset and become buoyant again to your natural state of energy, which is why I always start the show saying, let me help you tune in, tap into your natural state of energy and your natural high. But also, when I found Alexis and we started doing this breath work, it's beautiful because it felt like that there was a different layer of cleansing. And whilst I haven't seen anything visually that Alexis was talking about, I have felt something beautifully coming over me, like sometimes tears of gratitude, sometimes feeling this playful aspect of myself come out, and sometimes just absolute tingling all over the body. And it definitely feels very different from a meditation practice that I do, which is just allowing the thoughts to just pass and come back to the present moment time and time again. But yeah, the breath work, particularly your style, the holosomatic therapy that you do with the music. And by the way, I think that's probably the reason why I really appreciate your type of work, because the music allows you to follow the system so much more easily than just someone saying breathe in, breathe out. And so I really like the way that your holosomatic therapies seems, for me, a lot more easily guided for me to get to those really deeper states where I start to feel this release again and again. So I'm just curious, how did you sort of come about that part, or the music aspect of it? It just seems so natural that why wouldn't you add music to it?
Yeah, this work is like the results of working with different breathwork facilitators, trying many different styles, studying in different schools, trying a lot of breathwork with myself. I have done hundreds of sessions for myself. So I have tried many things, I have got a lot of feedback. So now what you see in the sessions is something that is very, very refined after many years of work.
Yeah.
And using the right music to evoke the right emotions, using the right words as well to access the different parts of your subconscious mind. So it has been taken really, it took really long to come up with this method. And
And it
Yeah.
works. It works because that music that you use is really does make you feel good, and it makes you feel connected. And for me, because I love music, I'm a big music fan. I make music. It really just struck a chord with me, particularly your style, which is different from some of the other breathwork that I've come across. But Alexis, I just wanted to ask you, how could people get in contact with you? Where I know you're doing retreats. Where are you doing retreats? You've got a very busy schedule, and you're very sought after, and you're particularly well connected in the breathwork community and wellness community, and you've had so many accolades. Where can people find you and come and do your retreats?
They can find me on InnerCamp.com. Also on Instagram, InnerCamp is our account, and then we have virtual workshops. They can try this in a virtual with a virtual setting. They can also join us in our retreats, or if they want to become a breathwork facilitator, we have also the option to study how to facilitate this kind of method.
I wanted to ask you, what's the difference between coming to an in-person retreat versus doing a virtual retreat? Because are the effects the same? Are they different? Are people, if you're starting to release things, is it okay to be at home when you're doing that? Or is it better to be in an environment? These are the type of questions I'm sure people have.
Yeah, the virtual workshops are really great for people who are not, for example, here in Spain, or they are not in Europe. We get people from Latin America, from Australia, from different continents, and it's hard for them to join us in person. I would say that the virtual events are 80%. The effects are around 80% of what you can feel in
That's
person,
still
because
super
in person
high.
we can do
That's still
body
super
work.
high. Yeah.
Yeah. It still is very powerful and important also if you come to a virtual workshop and you do breath work with anyone in a virtual setting is that you need to be responsible for yourself. There's no one there next to you supporting you because sometimes we might face big traumas and then no one is going to be there supporting you and you need to consider this. So you need to ask yourself a question, the question of, am I responsible for myself? Am I going to be okay? Can I manage the situation properly? Of if you are coming with PTSD, with big traumas, with anxiety, etc., this might be not the right setup for you. It might be better to go to an in-person session or event.
Amazing. Wow. Alexis, it's been so insightful speaking to you today. Thank you for sharing your gift and your knowledge and the holosomatic therapy. We haven't had a chance really to touch on the Tantra or the bodywork, but we'll do that on another show, I think, because that's another massive part of what you do. But thank you so much for being on the show today and sharing your knowledge and your wisdom, but also for sharing your light and your challenge and being able to go, look, I've moved through it and I'm helping literally thousands of people all over the world. So thank you so much for being this week's super soul model.
Thank you, James. Thank you for your invitation. Thank you.
Thank you very much.